Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for March 28th, 2020. From Genesis chapter 47. There is no place like home. For Jacob's father, there was no place like home. Home was promised to them by God. Now, to arrive in the new land, well, this is not home. Home is the promised land, that is, and this is Egypt. So when Joseph's father arrives, because of Joseph, he has an audience with Pharaoh. Like in today's world, when you meet someone, you may ask, "What's your occupation?" The answer, shepherds or keepers of the flock. But Jacob's father's next line has a little bit more meaning to it. From Genesis chapter 47, verse 4. They said to Pharaoh, "We have come to sojourn in the land, for there is no pasture for your servants' flocks, for the famine is severe in the land of Canaan. And now, please let your servants dwell in the land of Goshen." Who wants to be known as the one who sojourns? Meaning they dwell in the land, but the land is not their own land. They were promised another land. They are only here because of the famine. It's interesting, Pharaoh then asks the next question. How old are you? Strange question to ask until you hear the response. Genesis chapter 47, 8 and 9. And Pharaoh said to Jacob, "How many are the days of the years of your life?" And Jacob said to Pharaoh, "The days of the years of my sojourning are 130 years. Few and evil have been the days of the years of my life, and they have not attained to the days of the years of my life of my fathers in the days of their sojourning." 130 years. Okay, that's old. My grandma, who is still living on earth, is 100 years old, soon to be 101. I guess old is a matter of perspective. But as some would consider me to be old at 55. Oh well. But there is a biblical point that we need to consider. How old is old? After the flood, God said in Genesis chapter 6, verse 3, "Then the Lord said, My spirit shall not abide in man forever, for he is flesh. His days shall be 120 years. Joseph's father is the exception. Even God makes an exception from time to time. But I'm not quite done with this verse. Joseph's father says the years of his sojourning are 130. Didn't he just come from the promised land? Then why is he considering himself a sojourner? As a popular hymn is titled, "I'm but a stranger here. Heaven is my home." The promised land of what we call Israel, that is where he previously dwelt. But his final home is a reunion with God in heaven above. Now that the family is put together, soon Joseph's father will soon be united with God after 17 more years. Verse 28, "And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the days of Jacob, the years of his life, were 147 years. I want to quickly recall the hymn, "A Mighty Fortress is Our God," stanza 4. God's word forever shall abide, no thanks to foes who fear it. For God himself fights by our side, with weapons of the Spirit. Were they to take our house, goods, honor, child, or spouse, though life be wrenched away, they cannot win the day. The kingdom's ours forever. As Luther notes, even if they take away everything, our house, goods, honor, child, spouse, even our very life, the kingdom is ours forever. We need to keep this in mind, especially during these difficult times, when we would like to be reunited with friends and family. And we struggle in today's world. We have to realize we are just a stranger here, that heaven is our home. There is no place like home. And Joseph's father made, you could say, a final request to Joseph. He said in verse 29 and 30, "Do not bury me in Egypt, but let me lie with my fathers. Carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in their burying place." He answered, "I will do as you have said." This would be in the physical promised land. There was some attachment to that land. But to be united with God in heaven above is much better. Join me again tomorrow as we look at, once again, the older will serve the younger. God's peace and many blessings be with you.